This is the wrestling system I used to go from 6th in the state to becoming ranked 12th in the country and earning a full ride Division I wrestling scholarship, cash in the bank, in the pocket. Oh, bleeding a little bit. Hit the knee on that one. Oh, I get gassed. I'm a little out of shape. First thing I do is I look to get to my underhook. That is my #1 tie-up. So right when the whistle blows, I'm looking to post with my back hand, club, and dig my underhook position. Sometimes I'll get there different ways, but that's my main way I get to this underhook. Once I'm here, the main defense that people try to do to me is they try to pick their arm up and slide it down my collarbone. As that goes to happen, I step and reach with my opposite hand behind the knee, and I pull myself into a single leg. From here, I drive up. Majority of the time, I'm gonna finish on my feet, lift, sweep, and then cover, okay? Sometimes I won't hit my knee. So if the person's not low, so say I go here, the person's more upright, they go to slip out here, I can just drop right into that high single, just like this. Preferably, you don't go to your knee, because when you hit a single leg, you're trying to get to your feet in the first place. So if you don't have to hit your knee, why would you? So again, post, club, underhook, and they might not even have to slip their arm out like Will was doing. If it's just draped here and you feel like you can lift it up using your elbow, then you can go right for that shot, okay? But again, if he's lower, so if we're lower here and he starts slipping out, I'll have to hit my knee on that knee pull single. Knee pull single is just when the opposite hand grabs behind the knee to pull yourself in to the shot. If he steps back, I go for my knee pick. So post, club, underhook. I start trying to attack here. This other leg ends up being forward now. I go toe to toe. I punch across his body. I grab his knee and I circle behind him as I fall. And this is whether or not he tries to use the underhook defense and slip free. Even if I just know I can jack my elbow up and look for this leg, he steps it back. This is where I'm coming for this knee. Toe to toe with my outside leg, grab the knee. And I don't like finishing in front, keep a whizzer on me, because a lot of times when I finish in front, he can post and recover from that knee pick attack. When I'm going, I like to finish and circle behind the person. So I'm going for single here. Then I step toe to toe. I'm raising my elbow up. The higher my elbow goes, the easier the overhook will slip off of my armpit. So elbow comes up and I finish on the opposite side. If he uses that overhook and kind of crunches down and he has his head in my shoulder, this would happen a lot of times against the better wrestlers. What I do is I look to lock my hands behind his neck. I normally start with an S grip. The two grips I like is S grip and gable grip. S grip is where your fingers lock like this. Gable grip is like this. The reason why I'll go S grip first is because it's easier to reach this lock. This lock is stronger. This one's easier to reach. So I'll start here. Sometimes I'll switch to here. But it's kind of hard to wrap around the entire arm and head here, initially going to that gable grip. So I'll start with that S grip. From here, I crunch his face into my chest. I circle hip to hip. And there's two ways to throw this. It's called a head pinch. I can back step and get my hips in and make it more of a big throw, or I can more circle hip to hip and pull him down to the mat. So I'm not pulling him over top of me, I'm circling hip to hip and just pulling him down to the mat. One thing to watch out for is this hand here. So right now, his hand is underneath my body. And if I throw, he can actually punch his arm forward this way and slip free from that position. So I continue to circle hip to hip as we hit the ground to make sure I get the takedown and even get back points. So I'll show you that first version where I'm more stepping in and getting more of a big throw. I step my left foot in a little bit, back step, my hip comes across, and then, let's turn this way a little bit. So if I ended up here, I'm gonna circle hip to hip and slide my body down that arm so he can't get out. I try to go for this head pinch, but he's cranking down and I can't get my hips in. This is where I go for my foot sweep. I lift up the best I can. When he cranks down, my left foot swings through, catches the foot, and my upper body pulls him down here. The main thing that you're trying to do is get his foot off the mat. So I'm lifting the best I can to try to get that right foot, this foot right here, off the mat so that I can actually sweep it. If his foot's on the mat, I won't be able to move it. So I need it off the mat so I can sweep it through and pull down and finish. Most of the time, I'm covering on top. So most of the time, this is the way the finish looks. I'm jacking here. I'm normally looking at the foot too to kind of see if it's ready to get sweeped. I sweep through and kind of cover there. Next, I started wrestling people, and man, I couldn't get to this underhook. Maybe they were a lefty, and this shoulder was back, and I would just I try to dig here. I couldn't get to that underhook position. So what would happen is I would post, club, and I'd end up in a collar tie. Based on what he did, I had a couple different options. If he over-tied, I would fake at this leg and then shoot here. I can just shoot here, especially if he's a lefty, just my knee pull single. I can step, grab the knee with my free hand, drop my other hand, and pull myself in and finish the takedown. But if he's a righty, that leg's far away. So what I'll do is I'll step my left leg forward, my back leg, and I'll go for a knee pick. Here. As he steps back just like that, my hand goes to the other knee and I step my right leg forward, drop in, head up in the chest. Head's not down here. Head up in the chest, you guys. Really, really important detail when finishing that single leg, okay? So I club, he over ties, I can't get that underhook. All right, fake knee pick, knee pull single, boom. Sometimes I'll end up with my head on the outside, which I think is what happened when I showed the video in the beginning. If it happens here, I'll either circle behind and collect both legs, or I'll shelf it like a high crotch and go double. So sometimes the head will slip to the outside. I'll come here, and it just depends. You know, if I feel I can get my head to the inside, I will, because I like single finishes better. But if I step and I feel like, man, I can't pivot, I'll just pull straight in. If I can't make that circle. And in general, it's based on this. I'll do head on the outside if I have too much of an angle on him. So here's what I mean. If I'm straight on, right now, look at the camera, we're straight on. I will hit a single, regular knee pull single. Even if I'm over here more, regular single, regular single. As I move here further and further, I will switch to that head outside because it's hard to pivot into the single position. So as I move further this way, I may have to drop to a head outside step, high crotch. I started wrestling people and I was like, man, they keep thumb blocking me. I keep going here, I can't get the underhook. Now they're thumb blocking me. I can't do that shot now because if I go to shoot, the thumb's in the way, I can't attack. So I developed this shot. I'm not saying I made any of this stuff up. I just developed it as problems arose. And this is how you guys can develop your own system. Start with something. As problems come up, solve them, and have answers for everything. He's thumb blocking. First thing I would try to do is I would try to clear the thumb block by taking my free hand, chopping and pulling down on the collar tie to get him to step, okay? As I did that, I stepped backwards, lowered my level, and then shot a sweep single. One thing I would do too is I would build some pressure up. I would come here, maybe thumb block a little bit, because if that leg's back, it's hard to get it to step forwards unless you have a lot of pressure. We're pushing into each other, boom, sweep in. Little tip here, if you're below the knee, split the hands and post. If you're above the knee, lock. Below the knee, split post, stand up. Above the knee, lock, stand up. I don't think I've shared that in my single leg videos. Last one. If, hey, maybe I can't get that leg forward. He's too heavy lead with his right leg. Maybe I tried it and it wasn't there. I'm gonna hit a misdirection. So I'm gonna do the same technique, pushing in, maybe thumb blocking as I push. I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna lower here like I'm going for this back leg, and then I'm just gonna grab the heel and pull myself into that head outside low single position. And you'll notice I'm forcing these same positions, finishing positions, right? I'm getting to the positions I feel comfortable. I love a knee pull single, so I have it here. I have it here. I love that head outside shot, so I have it here. I have it here. I love my underhook, my throws, but I'm forcing the same positions on my finishes because I know how to finish there. I put so many reps into those finishes. So one more time with this one. I come here, I snap, I come here, boom, I'll transition, grab the heel, grab the other ankle, finish there. And I know I didn't go into crazy detail like I normally do on all my videos, but use my videos to build your system. That's why I create such a variety. It's not necessarily so you guys can, necessarily binge watch all of them, which is awesome if you do, but it's really picking and choosing your stuff, developing your system.